Your body treats American syrup like a foreign invader. Not metaphorically. Your liver literally doesn't recognize what's in that bottle as food. And the terrifying part? The ingredient responsible is banned in over 100 countries. But you probably poured it on your breakfast this morning. Walk into any American grocery store and grab a bottle of maple syrup. Flip it over. Read the ingredients. No maple. Zero. Not a single drop from an actual tree. What you're holding is high-fructose corn syrup, dressed up with artificial flavoring and something called sulfite ammonia caramel. That last one? It's a laboratory creation that doesn't exist anywhere in nature. But it makes your syrup look golden and delicious. Here's the sneaky part. The FDA lets companies call this stuff pancake syrup or table syrup without any real maple whatsoever. Completely legal, completely misleading. Real maple syrup costs around $40 to $60 per gallon to produce. The fake stuff? Under $3. So, guess which one dominates store shelves? Your grandmother didn't deal with this nonsense. Back in her day, syrup came from trees. But then the 1970s happened. Corn subsidies made high-fructose corn syrup dirt cheap, and suddenly every breakfast table in America got hijacked by industrial sweeteners. And we're drowning in it. The average American now consumes about 22 teaspoons of added sugars daily. That's nearly triple what health organizations say is safe. 22 teaspoons. Every single day. But here's what nobody tells you at the breakfast table. That corn-based syrup isn't just unhealthy. Your liver processes it like it's under attack. And what happens inside your body when you pour it on those pancakes? That's where things get genuinely disturbing. Your liver is basically the hardest working organ you've got. Processes toxins, makes bile, stores energy. It handles everything. But here's the thing. Fructose? Your liver is the only organ that can deal with it. Every other cell in your body looks at fructose and goes, "Not my problem." So when you pour that corn-based syrup on your pancakes, your liver gets absolutely hammered. We're talking a workload similar to drinking several cocktails at brunch. Except you didn't even get the buzz. And what does your liver do with all that fructose it can't immediately use? Converts it straight into fat. There's a fancy term for this called de novo lipogenesis. Basically means your liver becomes a fat-making factory, whether you want it to or not. Here's where it gets wild. Around 25% of American adults now have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. A quarter of us. Walking around with livers that look like they belong to heavy drinkers. Except many of these folks have never touched alcohol. This condition barely existed before processed fructose took over our food supply. But wait, it gets worse. HFCS doesn't play fair with your hunger signals either. Normal sugar tells your brain, "Hey, we're full now," by triggering leptin. High-fructose corn syrup skips that whole conversation. Your body never gets the memo to stop eating. And the speed this stuff hits your bloodstream? That creates a whole different disaster inside you. Let's talk about your morning coffee. Because that innocent-looking pump of vanilla? It's doing more damage than you'd think. A single pump of flavored syrup contains about 5 grams of sugar. Sounds manageable. But here's what nobody tells you. Most coffee shops use 4 to 6 pumps per drink. That's 20 to 30 grams of sugar before you've even looked at breakfast. Your grande caramel latte. More sugar than 2 glazed donuts. Yet somehow we don't count it as dessert. Wild, right? Brands like Torani and Monin mix cane sugar with corn syrup solids. This combination hits your bloodstream faster than eating an actual candy bar. Your pancreas doesn't see a beverage. It sees a 5-alarm emergency. Now, The sugar-free versions seem like the smart move, except they swap in sucralose, or acesulfame potassium. Recent research suggests these might mess with your gut bacteria and confuse your insulin response, so you avoided the sugar but potentially created a different problem. And that beautiful golden caramel color? It comes from heating sugars until they literally break apart at the molecular level. Your digestive enzymes look at those compounds like a mechanic looks at a spacecraft engine. Completely foreign territory. Oh, and vanilla syrup often contains propylene glycol as a stabilizer. Same compound found in antifreeze. Food grade, sure, but still makes you think twice. Speaking of things your body doesn't recognize, your digestive enzymes have some opinions about all this. Your digestive system has been doing the same job for 200,000 years. It knows how to handle an apple, a handful of berries, maybe some honey stolen from an angry beehive. What it doesn't know: how to process 30 grams of isolated fructose hitting your small intestine like a freight train. Here's the problem. Your gut can only absorb about 25 to 50 grams of fructose at one time. Exceed that limit, and things get interesting. And by interesting, I mean uncomfortable. The undigested sugars don't just disappear, they travel down to your colon, where billions of bacteria are waiting. Hungry bacteria. These little guys feast on that excess fructose and produce hydrogen and methane gas as a thank you gift. Ever feel bloated after a big pancake breakfast? Now you know why. Your enzyme sucrase isomaltase handles regular sugar just fine. It's evolved for the job, but modern syrups combine sugars in molecular arrangements that make this enzyme scratch its head. It's like asking a locksmith to pick a lock from another dimension. Ancient humans ate maybe 20 grams of fructose per day, all from seasonal fruit, all bound to fiber that slowed everything down. One serving of pancake syrup delivers 30-plus grams in under 5 minutes. No fiber, no speed bumps, just pure metabolic chaos. And while your gut struggles with this sugar tsunami, your pancreas faces its own emergency situation. Real maple syrup isn't just different from corn syrup, it's practically a different species. When scientists analyzed genuine maple, they found 67 distinct antioxidant compounds. 67. One of them, quebecol, was so unique they named it after Quebec. This compound fights inflammation in ways corn syrup never could. But here's where the molecular battle gets interesting. Corn syrup hits your bloodstream as free-floating fructose and glucose, unbound, unattached, ready to cause chaos. Maple syrup? Its sugars stay partially bonded to minerals and phenolic compounds. Your body has to work a little harder to break them apart. That extra effort matters. The glycemic index tells you how fast foods spike your blood sugar. Pure maple scores around 54. Corn-based pancake syrup? 85. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between a gentle wave and getting hit by a speedboat. And nutrients? Genuine maple delivers manganese, zinc, and riboflavin. Actual vitamins. Actual minerals. The fake stuff provides exactly nothing. Zero. Zilch. You'd get more nutrition licking a doorknob. Here's what really blows my mind. Making real maple syrup requires boiling 40 gallons of tree sap down to 1 gallon of finished product. 40 to 1. That's dedication. Corn syrup requires industrial centrifuges, laboratory enzymes, and chemical processing facilities. Recent studies suggest maple's polyphenols might actually help regulate blood sugar. Meanwhile, corn syrup actively damages insulin sensitivity. Speaking of things that damage your body, let's talk about chocolate and caramel syrups. Commercial chocolate syrup pulls a sneaky trick. Check the label on that Hershey's bottle. High-fructose corn syrup sits at the top. Right below it, regular corn syrup, two forms of processed corn sugar before you even reach the cocoa. Double the corn, double the problem. But caramel syrup does something worse. During manufacturing, sugar gets heated until molecules literally fall apart and reassemble. Scientists call this the Maillard reaction. It creates compounds called advanced glycation end products. AGEs, for short. Fitting name, honestly. These AGEs accumulate in your tissues like sediment in old pipes. They stiffen collagen, damage blood vessels, speed up aging at the cellular level. Every squeeze of that caramel bottle adds more gunk your body struggles to clear. Now, pour that chocolate syrup over ice cream. Congratulations! You just delivered 50 grams of sugar to your system. That's 12.5 sugar cubes melting on your sundae. Your pancreas just screamed. Here's something your dentist won't explain this well. Thick syrups cling to tooth enamel way longer than sodas. They're basically setting up an all-you-can-eat buffet for mouth bacteria. Extended feeding time means extended acid production, and that healthy Dutch process cocoa in chocolate syrup. The alkalizing process strips away 90% of natural flavonols, the compounds that actually make real chocolate good for your heart. Gone. Your gallbladder releases bile to digest fats. Pure sugar syrups? They skip that system entirely. Which brings us to what happens inside your bloodstream, minute by minute. 5 minutes after syrup hits your tongue, the chaos begins. Glucose sensors in your mouth immediately alert your brain. Incoming energy. Prepare the troops. Your pancreas starts releasing insulin before sugar even reaches your stomach. It's like your body hitting the fire alarm because someone lit a candle. By minute 15, blood sugar rockets upward. Your pancreas panics. It dumps insulin like a rookie pilot, ejecting from a plane at the first sign of turbulence. Problem is, it almost always overshoots. Here's where things get inflammatory, literally. At the 30-minute mark, your bloodstream shows measurable increases in C-reactive protein. That's an inflammation marker. From one meal, one serving of syrup on pancakes can trigger the same inflammatory response as a minor injury. Now wait 90 minutes. Your blood sugar doesn't just return to normal. It crashes below where it started. Suddenly, you're irritable, hungry again, craving something sweet to fix how terrible you feel. Sound familiar? That's not weakness. That's biochemistry, working exactly as designed for survival situations that no longer exist. The addictive cycle locks in right here. Do this daily for years, and your cells start ignoring insulin's constant screaming. They're like teenagers tuning out nagging parents. This insulin resistance develops silently, often 10 to 15 years before type 2 diabetes officially appears on blood tests. One continuous glucose monitor study found something wild. The syrup caused spikes 40% higher than the pancakes underneath. But inflammation isn't just temporary. Agave syrup might be the biggest health food scam of the century. Marketing teams slapped natural on the label and watched health-conscious shoppers grab it by the gallon. Here's what they didn't mention. Agave contains up to 90% fructose. That's way higher than high-fructose corn syrup. Your liver handles agave like it's processing a sugary gut punch. But date syrup? Actually different. When you blend whole dates into syrup, the fiber sticks around, the potassium stays, the antioxidants survive. Your body looks at date syrup and says, "Oh, this is food." That's rare in the syrup world. Then there's honey. People treat it like medicine. And sure, it's got enzymes, pollen, antimicrobial compounds, ancient stuff. But here's the thing. 17 grams of sugar per tablespoon doesn't become harmless. Because bees made it. Your liver processes honey's fructose the exact same way. Brown rice syrup sounds like something a yoga instructor would approve. Wholesome, earthy. Also has a glycemic index of 98. That's higher than pure glucose. Oh, and some brands tested positive for arsenic. Comforting. The sneakiest offenders? Fruit-sweetened syrups. They concentrate all the fructose from fruit while stripping out the fiber that normally slows everything down. It's like nature's junk food, dressed up in a farmer's market disguise. Even zero-calorie options mess with you. Monk fruit tastes sweet. Your brain notices. Sometimes it releases insulin anyway. Speaking of confused responses, your gut bacteria have opinions too. Your intestines house roughly 38 trillion bacteria. That's more than all the humans who've ever lived. And these microscopic roommates? They have very strong opinions about what you eat. Here's the problem. Your gut bacteria evolved alongside humans for thousands of years. They got used to whole foods, fiber, complex carbohydrates, the occasional piece of fruit. Then we introduced synthetic syrups. High fructose intake feeds the wrong bacteria, the troublemakers. These bad actors produce something called lipopolysaccharides. Sounds complicated because it is. These compounds leak through your intestinal walls and trigger inflammation everywhere. Your joints, your brain, your skin. And it happens fast. Studies show regular syrup consumption can reduce beneficial bifidobacteria populations within just 7 days. 1 week. That's all it takes to shift your gut toward an inflammatory profile. But wait, it gets weirder. Those artificial colors in pancake syrup? Red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6? Research shows they alter gut bacteria composition and make your intestinal walls more permeable. Leaky gut isn't just a wellness buzzword, it's measurable science. Even the preservatives join the party. Potassium sorbate, found in most commercial syrups, suppresses beneficial bacteria at concentrations present in a typical serving. The strangest part? Your gut bacteria produce neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine. When syrup disrupts your microbiome, it doesn't just affect digestion. It affects your mood, your focus, your mental clarity, which brings us to what you can actually do about all this. All right, let's talk solutions. First up, the half-and-half method. Use half your normal syrup amount, but add butter and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Your brain still registers sweetness. Your liver processes 50% less fructose. Everyone wins. Now here's something most people get wrong about maple syrup grades. That lighter, fancy stuff? It's actually less nutritious. The darker grades, what they now call Grade A Dark, pack more minerals and antioxidants. Plus, it tastes richer. You get more flavor per drop, so you naturally use less. My personal favorite swap? Blend fresh berries with 1 tablespoon of real maple. Takes 30 seconds. Your body processes it like actual food because it contains fiber, vitamins, real nutrients. Not just isolated sugar hitting your bloodstream like a freight train. Here's a trick that sounds too simple to work. Measure your syrup. Seriously. Studies show people who free-pour use 60% more than those who measure. 2 tablespoons. That's the rule. Buy a small measuring cup if you have to. And warm your maple before serving. Heat intensifies sweetness perception on your tongue. You'll use less without missing it. The strangest part about all this, your taste buds regenerate every 10 to 14 days. Cut back on syrup for 2 weeks, and your sweetness threshold genuinely resets. Amounts that once seemed pathetic start tasting perfect. Small changes, big difference. Your liver will thank you.